Threats of violent terrorism motivated by ideological or political views are unacceptable.
I like the fact that, we're starting to at least open up our eyes and, look around a little bit and make sure that we're safe.
Well, I'm glad they found him. It's disturbing to think that could happen in our community.
Protecting our community against acts of terrorism and violence remains the single highest priority of the Department of Justice and the United States Attorney's Office.
A plot to blow up a bridge in Northeast Ohio thwarted by the FBI. Now, 5 men are in custody tonight. Good evening, I'm Lee Jordan.
And I'm Leon Bibb. The terror plot arrest still stunning many this night. Federal agents arrested 5 men last night. Douglas Wright, Brandon Baxter, Anthony Hain, Connor Stevens, and Joshua Stefford. They all had their initial court appearances today. All are facing conspiracy charges tonight.
That after investigators say they worked together on a number of plots, both locally and nationally over the last several months, including setting off smoke bombs on the Veterans Memorial Bridge, knocking down bank signs in Cleveland, and even disrupting both political conventions before finally working on that plan to blow up the Route 82 bridge over the Cuyahoga Valley National Park.
News Channel 5 has been working every angle of this story today.
Paul Kiska tells us how the FBI made the bust. Sarah Buddison takes a closer look at who these suspects are.
Tracy Carlos talked to folks who live near the bridge. And Joe Paganakis tells us if we are prepared for an attack like this. We begin with Paul Kiska, who was at today's news conference and is live in Cleveland tonight.
Well, Leon, these defendants thought they could interrupt the financial institutions they had an axe to grind with by interrupting interstate commerce. That's why they targeted such a busy bridge, 14,000 vehicles a day. Last night, 9 o'clock, these defendants thought they could blow up that bridge with remote access by dialing a cell phone number that would activate those devices that they placed at the base of that bridge. Fortunately, it didn't go as they had planned.
The defendants went to a hotel room to purchase what they thought were C4 plastic explosive devices.
The defendants tried to rile up the Occupy Cleveland protesters last October, but a source went to the FBI saying the men, who are self-proclaimed anarchists, were actually planning an attack in Cleveland because they were angry with financial institutions. The source and undercover FBI agents met the defendants at a local hotel where the defendants bought what they thought were 2 bombs. 9 o'clock last night in stormy weather, the defendants placed the devices at the base of the Brecksville-Northfield high-level bridge along Route 82.
The defendants planted the explosives at the base of the bridge. The defendants armed the explosives. The defendants left and went to a remote site, and they then, sitting there, entered the codes that they thought would blow up a bridge with innocent people traveling over it.
The FBI said the defendants wanted to hurt banks by disrupting interstate commerce. One of the defendants' other brainstorm ideas included wearing a suicide bomb to blow up the Justice Center. But 26-year-old Douglas Wright joked he would have to be very drunk. The group talked about blowing up a train or ship, but the plan they decided to carry out last night blew up in their face, thanks to the FBI's terrorism task force.
Despite the defendants' worst intentions and aims, that during the entire course of yesterday's operation, the public was never in any danger. The defendants never possessed at any time any real explosive material.
And in the last 24 hours leading up to last night's bomb plot, these defendants were still talking about using a car bomb to blow up the Justice Center in downtown Cleveland. These 5 defendants are due back in federal court on Monday for a preliminary hearing. Live from the FBI headquarters in Cleveland tonight, Paul Kiska, News Channel 5.
More to come, certainly. Many thanks, Paul. So here's the question. Exactly who are these 5 suspects? The News Channel 5 investigators have been digging all day. Sarah Buddison joins us live now. Sarah, the FBI mentioned that Occupy Cleveland protest last October.
That's right. According to members here, all of the 5 men who were involved in the bomb plot were also members of Occupy Cleveland. And this afternoon, Occupy Cleveland organizers told me that they vehemently denounced the actions of the 5 men and vehemently oppose violence. In the heart of downtown, where Occupy Cleveland members still have a tent, there was shock that 5 of their own were accused of terror.
Any of us, like the good people, had any inkling of an idea that these guys were into that, they would have been
kicked out, like no bones about it, like a long time ago.
Robin Adelman says he knew 4 of the 5 men accused of plotting to blow up a bridge in Brecksville.
I didn't really think anything off about any of these guys, really, so it's really a shame. One of them we'd been trying to kind of boot for a bit because he was like kind of taking our money out of our donation box. We never expected anything this extreme, though.
Organizers say the suspects were fairly active in Occupy Cleveland, attending meetings and marches. Accused suspect Brandon Baxter lists Occupy Cleveland as a place he works on his Facebook page.
I didn't think they would do something like that. It was a big surprise to everybody.
Occupy organizer Johnny Pescar also knew some of the accused terrorists and says they seemed in step with the group's nonviolent approach to change.
From what I knew of them, they were not they weren't violent people or bad people.
The biggest thing I want is for people not to think that that was Occupy Cleveland. Like, I want people to know that there was like this random sect of people that decided to go and want to try and do something like that. And it's not what Occupy Cleveland's about whatsoever at all.
We also talked to neighbors of 2 of the accused terrorists today. They said they have a different take than the folks here. They said they were not surprised to learn that the men involved in the terror plot could be accused of such a crime. We've also been digging into the criminal backgrounds of some of these guys. We have found that one of them does have a long criminal history. Tony Hain has pleaded guilty to theft, forgery, and other crimes in Cuyahoga and Medina counties, and he is on probation right now in Cuyahoga County after he pleaded guilty to breaking and entering in January. On your side, I'm investigator Sarah Buttison, News Channel 5.
The bridge the FBI says the men eventually decided on blowing up is the Brecksville Northfield high-level bridge. That bridge carries Route 82 over the Cuyahoga Valley National Park and connects Brecksville and Sagamore Hills. Now, that bridge isn't necessarily a place many would think of as a target for an attack. Tracy Carlos has been talking to people who live in the Brecksville, Sagamore Hills area all day, and Tracy, must be some shock there in those quiet suburbs.
Yeah, Lee, you know, some people are shocked, other people are not so shocked, but all of them tell us that they are relieved that this plot was foiled. Just steps from the towpath trail here underneath this column of the Brecksville Northfield high-level bridge is where the FBI says the suspects planted what they thought was an explosive device. They allegedly tried to detonate it just after 9 o'clock last night, but little did they know they were under surveillance. Chief Chris Ryan is with the National Park Service.
There were no law enforcement rangers in the Station Road area. We wanted to stay out of the area so that the suspects would not be would not see law enforcement and then take off.
Jeff Turing has lived in this house for decades. He says he keeps his eyes open to what is happening in the park, which is literally in his backyard.
You know, you almost look for that activity now after 9/11. So you're almost surprised when it doesn't happen.
The bridge connects Brecksville and Sagamore Hills. It bridges together Cuyahoga and Summit counties. Thousands of drivers use the bridge every day, and below, thousands of people use the Cuyahoga Valley National Park every day. People like Rich Yoris. He walks his dogs Carly and Riley here often.
I guess just how it is here in America anymore. You know, everybody's always trying to blow something up or ruin something.
This section of the park is extremely popular with visitors, about 2 million every year. And today, many of those visitors are breathing a sigh of relief that the beauty of nature was not disturbed. And you know, not only do police patrol this area, but a group of citizens as well who act as the eyes and the ears of the police department when they can't be here. Reporting live in Brecksville, Tracy Carlos, News Channel 5.
Thank you, Tracy. The arrest of these suspects kept many parts of Northeast Ohio safe.
Cleveland's mayor's office is thanking the FBI tonight for their diligence in identifying and exposing a potential threat to our community.